Hey guys, it's Dave from Curtis Crafts, and today I'm trying to get this thing to work.
What the? And next thing you know, I'm crash landing through a portal 100 years in the past, being put together by a dude in his kitchen.
That's nice, but we got a video to do now. Do you mind if we get to that?
Oh sure, not like I'm bolted to the table and can't say no if I wanted to.
Sweet. So today I'm making the Curse Crusher from Onward, which is the rarest sword in all the land, one of a kind, forged of the most valuable metals there is, but this one's going to be made out of foam. So I'm cutting up some floor mats to use as the body of this entire sword, and using a 1/2-inch piece of PVC as its core, which will double as the handle. Once I channel out a space for the PVC, I'm going to start to glue the halves together with some contact cement. Robot, could you hand me the contact cement?
I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave.
Why not?
Because I don't have a right hand.
Right. So, anyway, once they're glued together, unfortunately there's going to be seams in this sword because this is the biggest piece of material I can get at the time, but that shouldn't matter when it's all done. Going off a few reference photos and some imagery from the movie, I have decided to make this about 4 feet long from tip to hilt, and the blade itself will wind up being about 3 feet long. It's going to be a big sword. After that, I start cutting away some of the excess foam. I mark out a space so that this is exactly 4.5 inches on either side, and then cut down the entire side with a board to keep it straight. Once I've cut off the excess, I shape the tip with a template I made out of some paper, and that finishes off the basic outline of the blade.
Nice.
I cut a bevel on the sides of the blade so that I can sand them off later. This doesn't have to be perfect because the sword is supposed to look chewed up. I used a rotary sander to smooth out the edges with some 300 grit sandpaper, which worked really well.
I bet you didn't think about that and got dust everywhere. That's what I thought.
Once I'm happy with the shape of the blade, I go back and cut in the dings and all of the cuts that are in the side of the blade. This sword is pretty messed up, and so I'm going to make it look almost as bad as possible while still looking good. Once I finish putting the damage in, then I go back and do some of the pinstripe work that I think is supposed to be Damascus, but it has a very even flame pattern on both sides. I'm just eyeballing this and making it as symmetrical as I can by hand, and scoring the grooves in with a knife. After that, I'll go back with a heat gun, which will open up all of the grooves and make the detail pop better. I also coated the sword with some Mod Podge to give it a more rigid surface look. Once I'm finished with detailing the blade, I move on to carving the handguard and the pommel.
Looks like you got a real handle on the situation.
I could go the rest of my life without hearing a dad joke like that again. I'm using this brick of 1.5 inch thick foam that I got from Harbor Freight. I haven't really found a use for it yet till now, and I figured it was good for experimentation. I hit it with the 300 grit sanding disc again, but this time inside of a trash bag to collect most of the dust. Once those were mostly smoothed out, I glued the crossguard onto the sword and put the pommel on the tip of the handle. So all that's really left is to fill up some of these big voids right here and glue the pommel and everything back on the bottom here. I'll take that from you. And then, of course, paint it. I painted the blade with some silver spray paint and then moved on to painting the crossguard and the pommel with some gold Createx paint and a brush. Once that was done, I moved back with some red heavy-bodied acrylic and painted the gem. While that was drying, I wrapped the handle in some 4mm foam that I cut into a 1-inch wide strip. Anytime I needed to add more onto the strip, I superglued each piece to the end of each other and wrapped it all the way down to the pommel. Once that was wrapped, I mixed some dark gray paint into some water and began to coat the blade so that I could weather it.
What? You ruined it. You took this whole video and you said you were going to build something and you promised these people and you lied to their faces. You ruined it. It's done. Kaput. Goodbye.
It's actually not ruined. It always looks really bad till you wipe it off, and that's when the, quote, magic happens. And it brings all of the details of the cuts I made up to the surface. That wraps up the Curse Crusher from Onward. One of the next things I want to make from this movie is I'm really trying hard to find a van model that I could work from to make Gwenivere. And hopefully that'll be my next project. But if not, maybe I'll do a little more work on this guy over here.
Hey, thanks for watching the video. Make sure to, if you haven't, go ahead and subscribe and then go ahead and click that bell button. It's right over there. Right there. Go ahead and click it. And if you like this video, go ahead and click the video right here. That's I would be pointing to if I had an arm on that side of my body.